So let's look at a few more posts in the Eternity section on the Korean Mabinogi website. So we have a few new posts here. There are two videos that we're going to look at. We're going to look at this video and this video. And here we can see some of the NPCs from Bangor. And here we can see Shattering Windmill. So this is what it looks like in Pleon Engine. And this is what it's going to look like in Unreal for Elemental Knight, the Shattering Windmill skill. So Shattering Windmill looks pretty good. I like the new look for sheeps too. And then we have this video here. So on the left side, they're doing like the tailoring skill. And on the right side, they're doing something with a mannequin. And that also looks like it involves using the tailoring skill, because you can see the tailoring skill icon above her head. And here we have a picture of what the Dragon Ruins just outside of Bangor will look like in Unreal. Like, here's the Dragon Ruins. And here are the buildings surrounding it. So this looks really good. I like how you can see all the mountains and stuff off to the side. I'm not sure what that is. It almost looks like a tent or something. Maybe it's just a weird shaped rock. So I'm wondering like what's going on up there. The ground is also pretty flat up there, so maybe there'll be new areas to move on. That'd be kind of cool. But it kind of looks like one of these wooden structures that are kind of around the Dragon Ruins. So that might be what I'm seeing like over here. Let's take a look at another Korean Eternity post. So this one's all about like face shape and all that stuff. So we had to make everything compatible with the existing live data, including hair, facial expressions, including eyes and mouth, and facial decorations. And this is what the current basic face looks like. And then down here, a wide face shape that cannot be escaped with pretty hair. So you can see that it still has the same wide face look as this one, but it's a little bit less noticeable because of the long hair. But the wide face shape is still a problem. That's what they're trying to show there. And Eternity basic face shape created based on the live basic face shape. So that's what this is. Even if you increase the number of polygons and touch up the bridge of the nose, is absolutely impossible to create a beautiful face based on the basic face shape. The default face is literally the first thing the user sees. It's the game's first impression. So the face shape created in this way is as follows. So human female character basic face shape created based on a face shape with a high nose. So this is what the faces currently look like, and this is what they have in Unreal so far. And this is a screen under development, and the final image may differ, but this will give you a good example of what things will look like. So this is Pleon Engine, and this is Unreal Engine. And you can see like the difference in the improvements in like the face for the character. Some people may not like the changed look, while others may like the changed look. Can we create graphics that will satisfy everyone? The short answer to that is no. There will probably be players that will like it and not like it. There's always going to be players that are going to disagree and not like the graphical change. But I think they're doing a good job keeping the graphic style as close to a Mabinogi graphic style as possible. What fits the feel of our game? What should we keep and what should we change? So I'm glad they're thinking about all this stuff, because it's impossible to satisfy everyone, to make every player happy with the changes. But I think they're doing a good job making sure that Mabinogi keeps its unique anime look without drastically changing. Okay, so let's look at another Eternity post on the Korean site. So this one's Anchor Rush Chain Slash Development. So this is about like chain blades and how those move and work. I'd like to introduce a work that naturally extended a chain using Unreal Control Rig. So in Pleon, you had to cram all the chain-related bones into the character bone and control them directly. And here you can see what all that looks like from their end, like programming that in. But now that we're using Unreal, let's do it like Unreal. So chain weapons can be separated from the character and managed independently. Plus, if you use the control rig that Unreal kindly provides, chain work becomes much easier, so why not use it? So cleaner, more flexible, more Unreal. Controlling the length of the Anchor Rush chain. So this is going to be about like the Anchor Rush skill specifically. And they talk all about how they did this. And here you can see how all this works. So a structure that is usually easy to control in a control rack, and the reality, so you can see the whole process for this, which is kind of cool. It looks like they're using a Kraken leg for this example here. I guess that would move in a similar way to a chain blade, so it makes sense that they're using that as an example. As above, I figured out that all I had to do was pull it to the target point with the 7 blades and position it. Since there are 7 blades in total, I tried placing the blades one by one from the starting point to the destination. Okay, so like blade 1 going to the target point, this would be whatever you're hitting, the enemy, and you do the same thing for each individual blade. The chain has really stretched to the target position. Sure, there were bugs where each axis was pointing in the wrong direction, but it was still enough to convince me it works. Oh, okay, and you can see what the chain blade looks like here, and then this is what it looks like when it's stretched out. So that work was being done for about 3 weeks after a bit of trial and error. So this is what Anchor Rush looks like in Pleon Engine, sort of. And then this is what it looks like after all this testing. I tried it and it was more natural than I thought. So you can see how smooth that looks. That's really good progress. Still, I was relieved to be able to apply it faster than expected. In fact, the reason it could end so quickly was because the weapon animation system was already implemented. Thanks to that, it was easy to apply because it fit perfectly, and I could focus on increasing the chain without worrying about anything else. For code work, you only need to pass the destination coordinates, and the rest can be done simply like this in the control rig script. Yeah, that's really cool. What if you weren't working with the control rig? Control rig basically takes into account the chain structure and automatically does things like if you turn this bone, the adjacent bone should follow like this. but if you implement it yourself, it's animation hell. It's not impossible to implement chaining without a control rig though, but the difficulty of digging is from software level. Yeah, so this looks like it was a lot of work to do. It's cool to see how this process works. For something as simple as one of the many weapons that we use in Mabinogi for like one of the skills. I mean, this is just talking about chain blades and mostly Anchor Rush. Let's have another look at a post on the Eternity site in Korea. So, Final Dance in Eternity. I think some of you might have noticed it as you saw the image. The subject of this development log is the Xanafiedlion, so the final boss of Gen 1 in Albi Dungeon in Ternanag. So production background, Mabinogi is a project that has grown together with our militians for a very long time. As a game that has been in service for a long time, there have been many big and small changes in Eren. I think the part where you can feel the biggest change is combat. Accordingly, there is a significant difference in battle experience between past boss monsters and new boss monsters. Examples include the Xanafiedlion from Gen 1, Final Chapter, and Myr from the Brelith. So here you can see like the Xanafiedlion, and you can see the other boss that they're talking about. In Eternity, past boss monsters that appeared in the mainstream have been transformed to fit the latest Mabinogi battle grammar. We aim to provide battle content of a quality that will satisfy all militians. And this work began with the first boss monster that militians encounter after arriving in Eren, the Incarnation of Destruction, Xanafiedlion. So there's a cool image of him there. Battle formation. As a boss appearing in the mainstream, Xanafiedlion has many attractive settings. When reimagining the battle of Xanafiedlion in Eternity, the first thing that came to mind was to incorporate these settings into the battle. Xanafiedlion first encountered in the mainstream is summoned by Keyhole's plan. So here you can see like a mana ritual and the mana ritual gauge. So the main concept of Eternity Xanafiedlion battle is consciousness suppression. The militians arrived earlier than expected and had to wake the Xanafiedlion in an incomplete state during the ceremony. The militians' first objective is to fight this imperfect Xanafiedlion and stop the mana ritual in progress during the fight. So you want to stop that gauge before it fills up. And it looks like you can see that they're doing something with the gargoyle statues there. So those are actually going to be a part of it now. I tried to incorporate the settings into the background as well. Did you know that Xanafiedlion loves gold? The boss room, which serves as the battle stage, was designed to feel like gold, ore, and a ritual altar. So it looks like this is going to be the boss room. It's completely different now. It doesn't have that square shape anymore. It's more of a circle. And the gargoyle statues actually do something in the boss fight. So that's pretty cool. And they have that interesting design on the floor. And down here you can see the old boss room, what that looks like, the square shape with the gargoyle statues. So this looks a lot better. The gargoyle statues placed in Albi Dungeon boss room also have a role. In Eternity, it is deployed as a device to conduct the rituals and is used as an in-game gimmick. At this point, you will also be able to understand the purpose of the black beads. So yeah, this is what it looks like now, and the gargoyles don't really have a purpose, and this is what the gargoyle statues look like in Eternity. After struggling to stop the mana ritual and fighting the incomplete Glass Scavellon, you will enter Phase 2. Here too, we wanted to provide a new way of having fun in Eternity rather than simply moving the map and changing phases. You remember the beam firing pattern of the Gen 1 Glass Scavellon? So here they show off that move. Oh, and this is what it looks like in Eternity. Wow, that looks way better. After putting Eternity's imperfect Glass Scavellon in danger, it unleashes a powerful beam attack. In order to utilize the existing Glass Scavellon symbol pattern more dramatically in Eternity, I added several dramatic devices to compose the pattern. In this process, the Militians each created a battle flow that allowed them to respond to the patterns in different ways and disrupt them. So it looks like that's sort of like a interaction key, maybe pressing like the space bar, I think, it says space, and you can like stop the attack. It's kind of cool. Camera work that blends in with patterns that were not easily attempted in live performances cutscenes that naturally transition to phases after performing gimmicks, etc. We are exploring and trying out various methods to ensure that you can enjoy not only the combat gameplay, but also the visual presentation. I think this visual presentation looks great. This is a big upgrade from this. Like, if you compare these two images, you can clearly see the difference. This looks way more modern and way better. In Phase 2, you will battle Glass Scavellon, the reincarnation of destruction, who has regained his power through a mana ritual. There is a change in appearance as it awakens once to match the concept. In addition to the character mesh of Glass Scavellon, you can see an even more powerful appearance in-game with effects attached to the area around the Glass Scavellon's body. So, Glass Scavellon, the Incarnation of Destruction, original artwork. This is his original artwork. And then in-game Glass Scavellon, the Incarnation of Destruction. So, yeah, this looks pretty cool. There's some amazing artwork here. Personally, I think it was cool when the bandages came off and the mask was torn, revealing what was hidden. Yeah, you can kind of see his eye right there. As he awakened as the Incarnation of Destruction, Phase 2 will proceed with the concept of burning everything. And they have a cool, like, portrait image here. And you can see all the houses and stuff burning. Seeing most of the fields on fire really gives you a feeling of fighting the very embodiment of destruction. We are also preparing boss patterns that we have not been able to introduce to you so that you can feel the setting of the boss monsters. We will do our best to ensure that you can experience authentic, immersive battles through Eternity, combining Mabinogi's uniquely engaging narrative and combat gameplay. So share your concerns. In addition to new combat content, Eternity is also preparing many combat-related improvements. Let me first introduce you to a few changes that were first applied to the Glass Scavellon. Let me first introduce you to a few changes that were first applied to the Battle of Glass Scavellon. first, there is a monster rotation. In Mabinogi, you can see the monsters bouncing around when they change direction. In Eternity, we've improved the way characters rotate directly to a different direction when their movement direction changes, making it look more natural. Okay, so we actually have two videos here. So this is what looks on Pleon Engine right now. Let's take a look at that. And this is what it will look like in Eternity. And that does look a lot better, so this will give you an idea of what to expect. Here, I'll play this one again. Secondly, there is the monster gaze. We also added an expression that guides it to the direction in which the boss is looking. I tried to structure the battles to make them feel more tense and threatening. It would be nice if this boss actually felt like a challenge again, instead of just like one-shotting him, because like that's what most can do. Like most can solo him and take him down in like 1 or 2 hits. In addition to this, we are considering various technical changes that can be incorporated into battles, and we will introduce them when the time comes. These technical changes are definitely something that can be done if possible. I think Militians will definitely like it. The biggest concern is the change in planning. The skills shown in the Eternity test demonstration video revealed at the 2025 Summer Fantasy Party, as well as the common evasion skills, can be viewed with similar concerns. The same goes for convenience in battle, such as how about adding a ping system to Mabinogi, or how about a system where skills on a cooldown are shared in the party chat. Among these, the most difficult concern is the direction of the battle. How difficult should Mabinogi's combat content become? Would action-packed battles suit you better, or would a battle focused on cooperative gimmicks be more appropriate? What if we considered the combat designs that allowed for different contributions within a party without fixing the roles of tank, damage, dealer, and healer? Eternity is a project that aims to become a game that can bring together all Militians who love Mabinogi. As mentioned above, we are looking back at the fundamental concerns and building up a solid foundation. So yeah, I think they're doing a really good job thinking about everything. I would personally like to see some more challenge in Mabinogi. I feel like a lot of the older dungeons and a lot of the older bosses just really aren't a challenge anymore, and that's kind of a problem. Like, the Glass Scavellin can be taken down solo in like 2 or 3 hits when you first start playing the game, and when you get to him, it's kind of ridiculous. And like the Armored Bear boss in one of the dungeons, like, he actually used to be a challenge 8 or 10 years ago, and now he's not. But this gives you an idea of what to expect for future boss fights in Eternity. Let's take another look at the Korean Eternity site. I need a boss room. A new boss room was revealed during this test. For those of you who haven't seen it yet, I'd like to talk about the process of creating it. Albi Dungeon and boss room with Glass Scavellin. There's the boss up there and the gargoyle statues. This new boss room is conceptually closely related to the Albi Dungeon and Glass Scavellin. So at the design stage, we tried to mix these two things. So you can see the different looks for the boss room that they have planned. It's going to be more round instead of square. It's going to be more of a circle. The overall concept was created by borrowing the gorgeous pillar design of Albi Dungeon the design of the waterway flowing through the corridor wall, and the unique steel frame design of the boss room where Glasgavlin appears, and creating a blueprint for what direction would be right. Of course, there were other things to consider besides these concepts. This boss room is divided into 2 phases, and in phase 2 the surrounding area had to collapse and disappear, so the design of the surrounding area had to be arranged with things that could move fluidly, and yet we had to fill in this large space. So it looks like this is probably going to be stage 1 with the gargoyle statues, because there's like a new mechanic for stopping the Glasgavlin ritual involving the gargoyle statues that's talked about in the other post. So boss room, an entrance zone to go to the boss room. So this is really cool. You can kind of see like this is maybe an average room in an Albi dungeon. So the rooms won't always be square anymore, they can be more circular. And then there's a long hallway, and then like an entrance to a door, and then that leads into the boss room. So this is really cool looking. Although not actually deployed, the background was created to be divided into a maintenance area, a hallway, and re-entry zone. But doesn't the door to the re-entry zone resemble something? So yeah, it does look like the door that you find in Bangor Dungeon when you go to, in Berry Dungeon when you go to Turnanag. As you may have noticed, the door to the re-entry zone was built to have some connection to the door to Turnanag. Through this space you can meet the boss Glasgavlin. So entrance seen from the front, this looks pretty cool. You can see some broken pillars here, and you can see like the big boss sword with the chains on it. So how should our Glasgavlin change as he enters this dungeon? As you know, Glasgavlin has already been reborn and applied in 2 new forms in live performance. The writing had to have a different design from the existing friends. So here we can see 2 images. These look pretty cool. Completed Glasgavlin on the left and Ultimate Glasgavlin on the right. I'm guessing this one is the left image and this one's the right. They're not really right next to each other. In this boss room, Glasgavlin will change in phase 2. Oh, that one looks really cool. You can see how his mask is completely gone and you can see both his eyes. The original drawings for phase 2 of the script that were created in this way are as follows. So it looks like this is what they're going to go with for phase 2. Phase 2 original artwork. This dungeon was only revealed during this test, but you will be able to freely visit it after it opens. Here Militians will encounter the newly renovated Glasgavlin and experience a new combat experience. So yeah, this looks pretty awesome. They're making a lot of changes to the way the final boss of Gen 1 works. So maybe he'll finally be a challenge again. Let's look at another Korean Eternity post about interactions with NPCs. So, because the live service has been ongoing for so long, it is not easy to consistently and meticulously manage every line of dialogue for so many characters. Sometimes a character's personality or speech pattern has changed over time, even passing through multiple writers. At the time of the update, lines that were consistently recognizable and amusing were now difficult to understand. There are more lines than you might expect that are out of date or contain memes that were popular only during a specific period. Unfortunately, there are some instances where dialogue itself contains errors. I wanted to see a variety of interactions for each keyword pressed, but some characters didn't have as many lines as I expected. If character A reacts to 20 keywords, it's natural to expect 20 reactions from the character B. Some characters have lots of lines, while others only respond to unknown keywords or even randomly output no lines at all for a single word, for a single keyword. It was always disappointing that some characters enjoyed the fun of discovering hidden reactions when certain conditions were met, while others didn't. I still remember the promise I made when I first established Melwyn in Dumbarton. Let's make her feel like a truly living character by adding various reactions based on the events she's experienced in Erin, the passage of time, and the circumstances and conditions of the Militians. I want richer interactions with my favorite and cherished NPCs. But do you know how many permanent NPCs are in Erin? People who welcome us all year round. Yeah, there are a lot of them. You can see that just by looking at the continent of Ulad, there are over 100 permanent NPCs welcoming the Militians. So how many travel journal keywords can we use to talk about one person? Recently I've been trying to respond to around 30 keywords. Furthermore, I've been able to trigger multiple responses to a single keyword. And you only need to write lines for 100 people and 30 keywords and number of variations. It's not as easy as you think. I remember talking about how difficult it was to write over 100 gift lines during an NDC presentation. While it might be fine if you were writing lines for just 1 or 2 characters, writing lines for 100 characters to respond to the loot keyword eventually leads to limitations. Yeah, I mean, they're basically saying, like, there's so many responses to just one keyword in our journals, and there are lots of keywords, and since we have so many characters, it is a lot more difficult than it looks. Maintaining this daunting task during a live broadcast is even more challenging. Working on everything at once would be physically time-consuming. Dialogue requires meticulous thought and careful consideration, requiring meticulous repeated review. However, it's not possible to assign specific roles to certain individuals while others remain unrelated, because every NPC is someone's most precious and beloved. So yeah, I like how they're making every character, they're trying to make every NPC feel unique or different, so they're not just like copies of each other. Sometimes a line of dialogue is so long that it makes you suffocate, and now there's a chance to end the agony of wanting to just press enter. Above all, I was able to solidify this decision through discussions with fellow developers within the development team. Honestly, I just wanted to have more conversations with all the NPCs. I love the process of enjoying conversations with characters, getting to know the world of Erin better, and naturally blending in. Yeah, I think doing that will make the game feel more alive if each NPC is, like, unique and has their own thoughts on things. It's very fun to go talking to, like, NPCs about different topics and, like, hearing what their opinion is on things. Like, I like to ask NPCs what their opinions are on Dark Knights, if any of them even know anything at all. And it's interesting to get, like, all the different answers for that. So we've decided to completely rewrite all the characters that Alright, let's play some Mabinogi today. Oh wait a minute, what's going on here? That doesn't look right. It should be capturing the game, but it's capturing like my desktop background. Hooray for technical difficulties. Alright, those work like normal, but the game, for whatever reason, the game screen isn't showing up like on OBS. So I have to have a look at that. Let's see what's going on here. Put that down for a second. Alright, let me see if I can fix this. Yeah, it's capturing the right thing. Well, now it's capturing my desktop just fine, so... There we go, that's better. I guess that fixed it. I have no idea what went wrong there, but I guess it's working now. Probably some issue on Mabinogi's end, just being weird. And let's check on Homestead stuff. So I got a couple of things to pick up from there. And I have a bunch of pets I put on like an expedition the other day. So let's get those guys back. That one gives out homestead seeds. Guess I could send some pets out there. Well, I'll worry about it later. Okay, let's plant a few more homestead seeds. I have a strawberry seed. Only one poinsettia seed left. Tomatoes. Oh, I'm out of Homestead Stone. Okay. But how much? Okay, we have lots of rosehip seeds. And a few pumpkin ones. So I think what I want to do is I want to get to level 200 pretty quickly. Let's see what kind of shadow missions we have today. Sniper War. Yeah, that one's okay. We'll do that. And then we'll do some Beltane missions. And for Sniper War, I'm only going to need my magic skills. Actually, it might be kind of fun to do it with the Arsenal Gunner. I've never really tried that mission with that. Let's give it a shot. Oh, and do I have any passes for elite missions? Let's find out. Yeah, one. Okay, let's use that up. Elite. Sniper War. Oh, guess I have a couple of them. They all expire in 12 days or so. Let's take that one. There we go. That makes a little path. I can't use that on this. Oops. There we go. And now the boss. We're gonna get the enemies around him first, because they'll vanish once the boss dies. And I want the gold they will probably drop. Well, not those two. This time they're not dropping that much. There we go. See what those are going for right now. Geez, the price on that dropped quite a bit, didn't it? Oh wait, that's the normal one. That one's useless. Compact one. Oh, someone's undercutting my price here again. Alright, I'll go as low as 85 mil. I'm probably not going to drop the price any lower than 80 mil, though. And what about that other one? Rerun and Himmel. Compact. Okay, mine's still the cheapest one out here for 70 mil. 9 mil cheaper than the next lowest price here, so I'm not gonna change that price anytime soon. And we'll get some of these for my spirit weapon. Level 83. Probably get her to up to 84. Not sure if we can get her maybe partway to 85 and all the way probably. Okay, and then the next goal is to do some Beltane missions, so I'm gonna need some passes for that. Let's see what we can draw. Random items. And... there. Speech bubbles. I don't need speech bubbles. Magnet all those. Did I not draw any Beltane pass at all? That sucks. I do still have these two things. Alright, I'm just gonna pull 2 Beltane passes out of here. Oh, and I probably don't have a 3 times Beltane crystal. No, in fact, I don't think I have any Beltane crystal at all. I have to look around that mission and hope that the enemies drop like a 2 times Beltane crystal or something. Okay, so we're gonna have to get the crystal from that bag. Let's use that. And get to Avalon Gate. Time to level up my Arsenal Gunner more. For level 45, halfway to 46. So I think with the Forgetful Potion and doing the Beltane mission twice, I can probably get it to at least 47. Maybe we'll end up at 48 if we're lucky. Oh, and what about an XP pot? Crap, I realized I don't have any of those too. Let's leave here really fast. I need to go to the, I need to go to Evan and access the dungeon shop. And also, I guess I'll get my daily dungeon quest from her. Okay, voucher shop. 11. Here we go. We have some in here. 130. Let's get one of those. Now I'll get one from here too. Oh, I see. So you can even, with the mannequin, you can put an outfit that you're selling on there too. And then that way it kind of shows what it looks like. Yeah, it's cool. I need to try that out next time I start selling stuff. Oh, only Channel 4 is busy. There are a lot of players here. Guess Channel 4 stays pretty active even during the holidays. But what's Lauren and Pan doing here? Alright, well, back to Avalon Gate for that mission. Time to level up. Pull out these doll bags. Use that potion. And whoops, that means open your shop. Baltane mission, nowhere to run. Elite. And let's go. Okay, level 200. So let's see if we want to drop the Baltane crystal out here. Doesn't look like it, which is kind of unfortunate. Get that gem. Is that ruby over there too? So Arsenal Gunner is almost halfway to 47. Alright, let's get out of here. So to level up quickly for the next one, we're gonna go to Tailton, the Druid's House Moongate, and we're gonna do Battle for Tailton 2. Just a quick run on Elite. And that should do the job. So where's the Shadow Crystals? We have some up here, let's use that. Get the gold, get the gold, get the gold! I go over there, but I don't want to step on an ice mine. Oops. Time shift. And done. Gold. What's in here? Spirit gems. Alright. Yeah, it's worth a lot. Go ahead and sell some stuff. We'll sell this for the full price. And if I could just get a little bit more gold. Perfect. Now I can buy one of those 3 times Baltane crystals. So back to Avalon Gate. How much longer is that potion gonna last? $43 minutes? Yeah, that'll last. Use that. And nowhere to run again. On Elite. Okay, so we're pretty much done here. What is there to pick up? Oh, some gems. Out of the way. Yeah, let's get that ruby too. There. Make room for it. Alright, well I can't use my next Forgetful Potion until tomorrow, so we'll just have to wait until then to do another Baltane run. Really close to 48. So yeah, tomorrow I can probably get to level 49. We'll have this maxed out by next week. And now for spirit weapon stuff. Let's give her all those. And all those. Deposit that. And let's see if I can get some Tanzanite, some of that crystal. Gonna try and push her up one more level, because if I can, then I can take up that skill. Yeah, I think we'll be able to get her to the next level. All right. What's going on here? Let's see. Oh, weekly XP limit reached. Crap, there's a weekly XP limit? That sucks. What a time for that to pop up. Oh well, guess I'll have to wait until next week. When does the weekly XP limit thing reset anyway? Hang on, I will look into this more. Take a look. It might be down here. It's experience point chart. Where's the part about that weekly XP limit crap? There's a weekly amount limit of 400,000 EXP that can be given to each spirit. So this refreshes Saturday at 7 AM. So I can't do anything about this today or tomorrow on stream. We'll have to wait until the weekend just to level her up. Interesting. I honestly didn't even know there was a cap for this. And that's probably because most of the time I'm very slow at leveling up my spirit weapons. It usually isn't a huge priority for me. But I've been getting into spirit weapon stuff a lot more. Well, I guess that's alright. I'm a little annoyed because I really want to take up that skill right now, but it's not really a big deal. Okay, so next we're gonna get out of here. And we'll find out what the veteran dungeon is and run that. What was the normal daily dungeon thing that I got? Fiat dungeon. We'll do that on veteran mode too. Dual guns. How much ammo do I have? Oh, still lots of ammo. I also have all this ammo too, these sun-touched mana bullets. I'm not sure when I want to start using them. So I could also increase Arsenal Gunner's damage just by using a stronger bullet type. $204. We'll see how much I have when I'm done. Let's go pick up that veteran dungeon, so we don't need the bunny out anymore. And Pan can stay out for a little bit. Let's go to the dungeon stone guy. I'll do event stuff after I clear both dungeons on veteran level. I'm gonna do event stuff last. Rundle Veteran Dungeon. Nice. Let's go do that. And when can I rebirth anyway? How far away are we from that? 2 days, so basically 3 days. It's probably Sunday sometime. Oh, not all of those are done yet. Okay. out this one in case any fine leather drops. Alright, time for the boss. Let's clear out some of these skeletons here. Actually, we're pretty close to a boost, so actually we should use Meteor right away. Get him with that. Three times. And we're gonna get another boost in just a second, then we'll use Meteor again. Four times. Took out almost half his health. Okay, he can actually knock me out of that. That's important to remember. Trying to slow him down a little bit. We'll start now. There, that worked better. See that? Oh, and he's dead. Nice. "24 minutes and 13 seconds. Spirit Gems, Unlimited Veteran Foamer Pass, and Star Sapphire Smoldering Thread. Unlimited Veteran Foamer Pass just get stacked in with these guys? Probably. 15 passes to use up in about 5 days. I guess Monday and Tuesday next week or something. Sometime next week I'll just use up a lot of these. We'll just have like a day where we run veteran dungeons all day. Because it'd be a shame for these to go to waste. But for now, the next one's going to be Fiat Dungeon. Well, I guess I can take a short break and check on my homestead stuff. That's probably all done now. Oh, 2 things are still taking their time, but you can get the small stuff. Oh, those XP potions expire fast. Well, that's okay. Tomorrow we'll be making a run. We'll use a Forgetful Potion in tomorrow's stream, and then we'll make another Nowhere to run for leveling up. So divide, let's take one of these out of there. And drop that. And time for the boss. Let's go. Alright. Let's get these flying swords I have here. And the first meteor. And the second. And then the third. Okay, the golem can knock me out of that too. It's nice that there are some bosses that can still knock you down pretty easily to knock you out of moves like that. At least it's not always gonna be super easy. Let's use that. Get a little distance. Lock in. Whoops. Spirit weapon attack. Whoops. There. 23 minutes and 29 seconds. And strength crystal, spirit gem, smoldering thread, and gem. How long do the spirit gems have? Okay, tons of time. How much fine leather do I have? 8. Get out of here. Wait, I had 204 bullets before I started my first. Now we have 140, so yeah, we used up like 64 reloads bullets. Okay. Wow. I'll probably craft more bullets tomorrow or Tuesday. Pull these off for now. Gather corn. Yeah, we can do that. Do I even have a scythe? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go to Philia to do that. So we'll finish up this daily, and then I think that'll be about it for today. At level 200, there's not too much else I can do. The interaction button is really, really nice for, Wait, who picks up cooking stuff? But the interaction button is really nice for, like, gathering. It makes doing stuff like this way easier. Alright, we're done with the daily gathering. I think we'll wrap things up right around here for today. So tomorrow will pretty much be the same thing. We're going to do Nowhere to Run one time, and we'll run like 2 veteran dungeons. And maybe some bounty hunting to get some homestead stone.